Welcome to the Daily Influence, where our mission is to deliver a daily dose of positive influence that can uplift you personally or be shared within your sphere of influence. While not every episode may directly apply to your unique circumstances, we strive to provide insights and inspiration relevant to most people's daily, weekly, and monthly lives. Whether you are tuning in during the morning, noon, or night, the Daily Influence is here for you. Listen, share, and embrace the power of influence in your life. Hey everybody, Brian Smith here with the IN Team series and your daily influence. And today we are going to tackle something that, well, quite frankly, we at IA have been doing almost the entire time we've been in existence. We are going to talk about the rise of the gig economy, the opportunities and challenges that everybody is faced with because of the gig economy. And I'm often asked when this term comes up, what exactly is the gig economy? Does that have something to do with technology? Does it have something to do with gigabytes? What does it mean? Well, quite literally, if you think about bands and concerts, the gig economy is where individuals hold themselves out one gig at a time or one project at a time, one short-term job at a time. And what we're seeing is people are looking for balance. The mentality of working 40 years for one company and giving your all to that organization, getting your gold watch at the end of it, that's changed. Now, those of us that have been in business for a long time, we've been in business 28 years at IA. We like that stability, but more and more we are pivoting into an era where people can take on fractional or gig jobs, make a living, and have a balance of life that really suits what their expectations are for themselves. And it plays right into our belief in the IN Team series. And as I said, IA's been doing this almost since our inception. We have been providing fractional leadership and tactical services to our clients for 28 years. It's a gig. We get hundreds, if not thousands of gigs a year. We rely on it for our livelihood at IA, but it's now changed. You have hundreds of thousands of people who are relying on the gig economy. The fractional professional environment out there is blowing up. And the reason it is that it's really expensive to hire a full-time leader for an organization that's just growing. But you can get the same power out of hiring somebody part-time. And that person can have a more interesting work life. That person might spend 1 to many days working on one client and 1 to many days on another and 1 to many days on another. I know a number of gig economy professionals who have 7, 8, 9 clients, and they pivot between them all, working somewhere between 3 to 5 to 7 hours a week. They get their 40 hours in still, but it's fractional for each client. And sometimes they lose a client and it gets down to where they have 1, 2, or 3 clients. But the gig economy is creating opportunities for them to go out and add more. Places like Fiverr and some of the other organizations online that take these people who live in the gig economy and bring them to market. And the opportunities for us are just as great. We no longer have to, if we don't want to, hire a full-time person as we grow. We can reach into these gig organizations, pull out a person that has the technical skill set and meets our cultural requirements, and put them on a project for a short time. And as we grow, we can do that until we get to a point when we're ready to place that permanent person. And when we push back on those people that want to live in the gig economy, it's okay. We don't have to fire them. They understand that it was a gig, a short-term engagement for them. The challenges are that as a gig practitioner, it's feast or famine sometimes. My advice for you if you want to be in the gig economy is establish some partnerships with organizations that are in the industry you want to have influence in. Companies like us use contractors all the time. We use over 200 what I call dedicated contractors. Those dedicated contractors are people that we use over and over and over again for our clients around the world. Some of them I have been working with for over 20 years. Another challenge is that sometimes the gig availability pool can get really shallow. The ebb and flow of the economy challenges us. Right now, there is a plethora. There are a lot of people available. The gig economy or the gig labor pool is fairly deep right now. However, it can get pretty shallow, and it seems to ebb and flow with the economy, and that's part of the challenge that we have, is that taking advantage of this gig economy can be more difficult for organizations if they have broader needs. Needing one or two is one thing, but if you're trying to gig out projects across your entire organization, that can get difficult. The other problem with it is cohesiveness. We find that sometimes when we bring somebody in for a short-term project, the onboarding of that person, the training of that person, getting that person integrated can be a little bit more difficult. Sometimes the approach from the contractor isn't as committed because they know they're going to leave. And if you are one of those people who are a contractor and you live off the gig economy, take each client like you would if you were going to stay there forever. Treat them like they are the most important aspect of your work life. Because in that area of influence, in that amount of time that you have a gig with them, they should be that important. You should be holding yourself out and being the best you can be. Your best self at all times during your gig. Challenge yourself to step up and integrate into the organizations that you're doing these gigs. And if you're having these people come into your organization, make part of the onboarding process a process that allows you to understand them, establish communication, understanding, and make them a part of your team. Make them feel welcome. Even if you know in one day, 1 week, 1 month, or even many months, they're going to be gone. For the time they're there, they're your responsibility. Their influence and your influence are synergistic for whatever goal you have together. So treat it that way. Do not treat people like they're temporary. Do not treat jobs and gigs like they're temporary. Treat them like they are the most important thing in your initial and immediate area of influence until they're done. This gig economy isn't going to go away. It's going to grow. As organizations and the economies continue to grow and fragment, there are going to be more opportunities for people to pick up side hustles and side jobs and gig jobs. Remote working is going to feed into this. Technology is going to feed into this. And my biggest advice is treat every gig like it's your last. Treat every gig like it's the most important thing in your work influence at that moment. And as organizations hiring these people, treat them like they're yours. And you will see a great cohesive team built. It can ebb and flow as you bring them on and let them go and get your projects done, growing your organization and fulfilling the mission of yourself and your team and theirs as the individuals doing the work. I hope that you have a little bit better understanding and appreciation for what the gig economy is, some of the opportunities that you might have and challenges that we face, and that if you're involved in any gigs on the receiving end, hiring people into your organization, or if you're going out and getting hired, that you will make that engagement the best that you can be so that you all come out reaching your goals and finishing the missions that you've started. I hope you all have a great day. I look forward to talking to you next week. The next one from Greg is going to be Dave Losavio's Journey to Positivity, and I hope that you will enjoy Greg and her interview with Dave. Have a great weekend.